Welcome, lovely listeners, to a special edition of Tranquility du Jour. As we gather around the warmth of this festive season, let's take a moment to breathe in the magic of the season and, of course, to all who celebrate. And exhaling a little bit of that holiday hustle, which I know is also part of this season for so many. So I'm Kimberly Wilson, host of Tranquility du Jour, and I'm here to guide you through a tranquil journey of reflection, connection, and mindful celebration. Now, before we dive in, I want to share a few things with you that are on the horizon. First of all, Coterie waitlist would love to have you join me for this year-long program that is absolutely, when you talk magic, it's truly magical. It's a wonderful community. It's filled with inspiring modules, all my digital courses, and much, much more. Plus, if you sign up for the waitlist, you'll get an opportunity to join the Coterie before others when it opens on January 1st. And that will allow you to get a special early bird bonus happening on Friday, December 29th, where I guide you through a pause and plan session, which I'm so excited about. Also, of course, on January 1st, the next Tranquility Salon edition will be releasing, which I'm so excited to share with you because, of course, as we launch into this fresh start, brand new season, I've got some fun journal prompts, a beautiful playlist. I've also got a private podcast for you, a yummy recipe, and more. You can find out more about that at kimberlywilson.com/salon. A gentle reminder to hit subscribe in your favorite podcast app and to visit kimberlywilson.com/podcast for more. Anyone who is new to Tranquility du Jour, a big, big welcome. We're an online community filled with tips and tools on finding more tranquility in the everyday. So grab your journal, a cup of tea, and settle in for this heartfelt musing as we welcome and greet this very special time of the year. So as we wrap up 2023, let's take a moment to cherish the twinkling lights and the cozy nights that Christmas brings. This time of the year brings us. And it's really, I like to think of it as a time to slow down. We're not as attached to our planners, right? We're much more in the moment. And this idea of savoring the joy of the present moment and to celebrate the love and the peace that this season symbolizes in so many ways. Just driving around, it's so fun to see all of the lights and the decorations and, all these sweet, sweet things. The Christmas cookies alone are enough to make the season magical. And let's talk for a moment about mindful gift giving. Now, I know most of you listening to this will probably have already exchanged gifts. And yet, you may be thinking, I love this idea too, is giving New Year's cards or New Year's gifts or, putting things off until the start of the year and being like, hey, love ya, but let's circle back in the new year. So in the spirit of tranquility, maybe considering presents that nurture the soul. And this, my love, includes you. What are some things that you need to nurture your soul? And let's be honest, it could just be a nice nap. So think of maybe even a handmade gift of sorts. I love to do embroidery. I love to give little gifts that are, kind of hand-picked with love. My big thing this year was giving this beautiful plum oil, which is a yummy kind of face serum. And I interviewed Angela on the podcast a few months ago, Lola Arno, which is her company, and everyone I've given it to has just become obsessed. They love it. So also buying gifts from sustainable companies, small batches, things along those lines. Maybe even sharing a book that touched your heart, or even a gift of a shared experience. Like I love giving tickets to something that the person will be joining me for. And also, of course, remembering that most precious gifts aren't things, but moments of connection and kindness. So could it even be something along the lines of like, I've missed you this holiday season or this year, and I look forward to getting together in the new year. Let's meet for tea. It's on me, right? Something along those lines that really allows you to gift experiences and connection. Now, let's also invite a sense of calm into our Christmas festivities. So, despite all the excitement and despite all of the hustle, really, that does tend to happen for many people around this time of the year, it's also important, of course, to find moments of stillness, setting that planner aside. One of the things I did before we headed into the holiday, so I think it was on Friday the 22nd, right? So of course, I have my planner, but I put into a little notebook, okay, here are the things that I need to handle over the holidays, so that it wouldn't be like, you need to look at your planner all the time. And, it's just like, okay, these are the things I need to accomplish, but I'm going to be taking a few days off, right? I'm going to be taking a few days off to really be with the experience. So for you, what would allow you to make sure you are able to get in those moments of stillness this time of the year? And it may just mean you have to put everything in a notebook and set it aside and know it will be waiting for you later this week. Now, some other ideas include taking a peaceful walk, getting outdoors, enjoying a cup of cocoa by the fire, and I love the little mini marshmallows for it. Simply sitting quietly, right? Like basking in the glow of the twinkle lights or the candle lights or the fire or the Christmas tree you may have. Stargazing. You guys look at the full moon. The full moon is happening Monday or Tuesday night, so be sure to check that out. Putting up bird feeders and keeping them stocked. We recently did this, and they love, the black sunflower seed? They're obsessed. And it's so fun to see them come by and we're like, we have a new friend, It's really oddly fun. Making a pot of soup and just having it simmering on the stove all day long. Creating warmth during the longest night of the year, which is just passed with the winter solstice. Happy winter solstice to all of you. The great news is it just continues to get lighter and lighter, which is what we need. Maybe collecting pine cones to make scented pine cones, or building a snowman, those of you who have snow, or ice skating, volunteering, maybe collecting canned goods or coats or toiletries. Catching up on Tranquility du Jour podcasts, of course. Scheduling some downtime, really making sure that you have some time that is carved out this next week, if you can, that is just for you and just for relaxing and reading a book and, putting your feet up and cuddling up on the couch. Maybe even trying a 24-hour digital detox. Highly recommended. It's so good for the soul. And you know what? If you're like, there's no way I could do 24 hours, honey, 2 hours counts. Okay, so whatever you can do, just set that phone aside and notice how we are constantly reaching for it just out of habit. Soak in the tub with sweet almond oil. I, of course, love to add Epsom salts, and there's so many yummy things that you can add. Write. Do a little reflection. I have some ideas for you later in this podcast. Practice kindness and choose your charities for your year-end giving. Now, I invite you to join me in a brief Christmas meditation. So close your eyes, take a deep breath, and envision the warmth of the season. Let its light remind you of the love and the peace and the stillness within you. A gift that you carry with you always. We always have our bodies and we always have our breaths. So let's take a few deep breaths together. Inhale through the nose. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Allow yourself to soften, to settle, to release any tightness you may be holding on to embrace a sense of openness, spaciousness, and lightness. As we approach the end of this episode, I want to encourage you to take a moment to reflect on the growth and lessons learned in this past year. Now, my next podcast episode will be coming out in 2 weeks, and it will be my year in review, where I like to kind of walk you through my own process, and I'm sure you have your very own, and do a little reflection with you on the year and visions for 2024. So I encourage you to start that process now if you haven't already. And a few journal prompts. The rest are going to be in the Salon edition that releases on January 1st. So here we go. Here's a couple for you. What were the most significant moments or experiences that shaped your growth or shaped your life or shaped your days in 2023? How have these experiences contributed to your personal evolution and that sense of resilience? Because I'll tell you, I've heard from many people, 2023 was not easy for many. It may have been for you, and that's lovely. And if it wasn't for you, give yourself some grace and recognize it's been a hard one. So consider the lessons that you learned and how they can help guide you toward a more tranquil and fulfilling path in the year ahead. Now, as we conclude, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to each of you. Thank you for sharing this journey of tranquility with me. Thank you for listening to this podcast. I have a big announcement coming for the podcast in early 2024, so stay tuned. And as I mentioned, the next episode is Year in Review, and then the next episode after that is going to be having Tim back on the show, and we're going to be chatting about our 20-year anniversary, which is just insanity. I can't believe it's been 20 years, and it's been 18 years since this podcast launched. So thank you for those of you who have tuned in for one episode to 622 episodes. I'm so grateful. I hope to see you inside of the Coterie. I hope to connect with you in the year ahead. I hope to see you at Pause and Plan, the early bird bonus for the Coterie. And also stay tuned because I'm going to be launching a Substack in the new year and a new digital course based on my book, Year of Tranquility. So I cannot thank you enough for being part of my life. It means so much, and many of you have been around for many years. And as a fellow listener had said before that I mentioned in a previous podcast, we have grown up together. And again, if we have just been on this journey together for a year or for 22, 3, 4-ish, thank you for being here. Until next time, please stay present. Please be gentle with yourself. Hold yourself like you would, just like a sweet little puppy with lots of tenderness and care. And may we all embrace the beauty of this magical season, and not even Christmas itself, but the shift, right, as we move into a brand new year and we wrap up this one. Thanks for being here.